No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people dey talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take help yourself.
In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to una? Wetin be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we not dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager, the bank executive, they are the one the government should first pay.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
It is Groovy Mono, aka the Steve Prince. Yo, what's up? It's Big Shags. I'm in London.
Hey guys, I'm Princess Jekoko. My name is Mutale Mwanza, the Queen of Zambian Media.
My name is Grand Prince Itek. Hi guys, my name is Baj Adebule. I'm an actor and a filmer.
Hello guys, I'm Falagade Banks.
My name is Kelechi Amadiobi, photographer, storyteller.
My name is Lanradi Dura, I'm an actor.
My name is Chidi Mokime.
Hi, my name is Ucheoba.
It's Touré season.
I'm a Stems.
Hi ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mamas and papas, I am Jimmy. You can call me the entertainer.
My name is Essie Odometa. I am an actor and a film producer.
My name is Sadiq Kubala.
Hi. My name is Julius the Genius. I would give a shout out to ADBN.
Big shout out to ADBN TV.
You're watching ADBN.
And you are watching.
Keep watching ADBN TV.
And this is ADBN TV.
And this is a shout out to ADBN TV. Keep watching, don't switch the dial.
Shout out to ADBN. Keep watching, love.
And you are watching ADBN TV.
Shout out to ADBN TV.
I've got one thing for you. Make sure you keep watching ADBN TV.
And shout out
to ADBN TV.
Shout out to ADBN TV. Don't touch the dial.
And you're watching
ADBN TV. Keep watching ADBN TV.
And I'm shouting out to ADBN TV.
They're watching ADBN TV.
Keep watching ADBN TV. This is where to be. And you're watching ADBN.
And shout out to
ADBN TV.
And shout out to ADBN TV. Keep watching.
And you're watching ADBN TV.
Keep watching ADBN TV.
Right now you are checking out ADBN TV. One time.
ADBN. Keep watching. I love you and kisses.
Keep watching ADBN.
And a special shout out to ADBN. Keep doing what you're doing, guys.
Please don't touch that dial.
Stay groovy.
Welcome back to Niger Delta today on ADBN television. And prior to that break, Jennifer had told you the lineup of what we have for you today. In Nigeria, host communities usually receive a portion of revenue derived from natural resources extracted from their communities in compensation for environmental degradation and other impacts. You'll recall that the Petroleum Industry Act PIA of 2021, signed into law by former President Muhammadu Buhari on August 16th, introduced significant reforms to Nigeria's petroleum industry. One of the key provisions is the allocation of 3%, not 13%, of the operating expenditure of oil companies to host communities. We're currently in the quest to receive more. Host communities in Delta State have given the state governor, Honorable Sheriff Oborewori, an ultimatum to increase their percentage in derivation to 13% or risk a protest in a few days. Jennifer.
Well, this issue of host communities has been lingering for a while now. In some states, we have the state allocate a portion of 50% of the 13% derivative. Some states give it 40%, some states 30%, just depending on their arrangement within the state. But in Delta, we've had this ultimatum for a while now.
Yeah.
And I feel we'll have an expansion of this conversation as in the studio with us is Organization Development Consultant Marvel Joseph Essien. He will be joining us to talk about this. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jennifer.
Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the program.
But let's talk about this issue between host communities and the state government. Now, from the creation of the HostCom, it is meant to alleviate some issues regarding environment, skill acquisition, as well as just like a makeup per se for the people of the oil-producing states. And so far, in Delta, there has been a number of complaints with regards to the expenditure of the state government the 13% derivation. Now there's an ultimatum. Let me get to hear your thoughts first on the HostCom in generality, devoid of just Delta, maybe other states in the Niger Delta region. How have they been operating so far?
You see, the issue of understanding the host community issue is always about the environmental impact.
Sure.
That the oil exploration has caused these host communities. Talking about Delta, I remember in those days, even in Akwa Ibom State here, how the fishing market, fishing business used to be. And certain kinds of fish that we used to have in Akwa Ibom State, we no more have them due to maybe oil spill effect and the environmental impact on the host communities. Even the buildings that they have, you see the effect on the zincs, the roofing of houses. So it's such that when we talk about this, you will remember a time that this resource control issue was very predominant in Nigeria. We talked about controlling our resources in the Niger Delta in order to develop the Niger Delta itself. Now it has graduated to a situation that we have been able to gain this 13% derivation now.
Yeah.
And the issue now is about leadership, how to control this 13% that has come. And discussing this today, in the light of what is happening in Delta State today, is about understanding the programs of government in Delta State, how the governor emerged as a governor himself, and how the host communities feel, what the host community feel about him, and how transparent is he, how is he running, how is his leadership in Delta State. Those are the issues that are showing up now in this time. And at a time like this, I'm very unfortunate if Delta State should give an ultimatum, maybe carry it out in the next 21 days as they talk about, given this 21 days ultimatum, it's going to cause a lot of economic impact in Delta State and even beyond. I wish this conversation did not come up at all at a time like this, given this bad governance protest that has taken its toll on Nigeria already. You know, when we talk about Nigeria losing in billions, some people put it at 500 billion loss per day. You know, it's something that we shouldn't even be contemplating another protest in this region at all. So now we have this at hand, and not just Delta State, Akwa Ibom State, Abia State, and all the host communities. What they feel is that they are not receiving enough as they should have received in most of these states, that they should be given more attention. But this is also complicated by issues of, you know, when we talk about local content and issues of employment, issues of engagements with these host communities. We see that in most of these communities that the demands that are coming from them is not even matching, sometimes do not match what expectations should be regarding if you're thinking about economic growth in this area. I'm talking about who are the greatest beneficiaries of these derivations.
Okay, now you made mention of this request coming at a time like this.
Yes.
Do you think the request is coming not just because they just want more, but because they want what they receive to match or equate current economic realities?
It is really about their trust and confidence in the government.
Okay, because now they're not talking about non-accountability. They're just talking about an increase in their own percentage from 3 to 13%.
If they talk about increase, it means taking it all. Okay, controlling 100%
no,
of
actually what they want is, maybe it's in line with the autonomy, the LG autonomy, but what they want is 13% of the 13 that is coming to the state government. Because of that 13%, the host communities in Delta State are getting 3%.
Well,
that is
let me just bring this in. Now, Delta State received 296.63 billion naira, which amounts to 31% of the total revenue.
13%.
Yeah, of the total revenue for the derivation. Now, the people are asking for an increase.
in what the host communities should
I get
receive.
it, yes.
You know, 3% goes to them directly.
Yes.
Now, out of the 13%, they want something. Forget about the amounts and the figures that they are talking about. In my own opinion, it shows lack of confidence in the leadership of Delta State. It is that if the state governor were engaging them sufficiently, they wouldn't be talking about, because if money comes, if you are transparent about it, everybody will see how you are utilizing the resources that is coming to the state. And if they are satisfied with how you are utilizing these resources, there will not be any complaint to say, I want to be part of it. If you listen to their conversation very well, you would feel them not having a sense of belonging or not feeling part of how these monies are being expended in the state. And all what they are demanding is, we want to know where this money is going. They wouldn't be talking about, bring this money, let us share it amongst ourselves. This money is for development. Talk about the development commission that has been created for all the host communities, for most of the oil and gas production communities. They have that commission already. So now, if monies are coming, the feeling is this money is not utilized the way it should be utilized. Now, is this money utilized the way it should be utilized? That's another story completely. What confidence are you giving them? So I put it all on the state governor rising up at this time to engage more with them, engage more with the executives of these communities, the host communities, executives. They are there, they are open for discussion. If they are well engaged, this is what is coming in and this is what is expended and this is what, because the main fear is of corruption, that the money is not utilized for their own benefit and that people are taking advantage of this money and siphoning these monies away. If you listen to their conversations, you would feel them wanting to know issues of accountability. What came in? What have you used it to do?
Well, let's look at it from this angle, away from issues of accountability. Assessment of all of the host communities across the Niger Delta, the 9 states in the Niger Delta. Do you think that they are living up to expectations, especially with environmental degradation issues, especially with issues of compensation, skill training, because that also forms part of these agencies? Empowerment as well as some form of scheme to the people. Do you think these agencies are living up to expectations?
You could as well also ask, is 13% derivation enough?
Well, if we're talking about, I've mentioned for Delta how much Delta received in concerning that, and Delta happens to be one of the highest, followed by Akwa Ibom, which received 222.52 billion naira, which represent 19% of the derivation. Now, Bayelsa received 188.02 billion naira. Rivers received 169.79 billion naira.
We're talking in billions.
Billions.
And now this is from the federal government. The NNPCL also made their own returns to these states. So, do you think they're actually living up to expectations?
That is why you cannot do away with the word transparency. Because if you have trust and faith in your leadership, you would look at what they are doing. And the leadership has a responsibility of being transparent. So it is not about the amount of monies involved. It is about the utilization of those monies. So if you are having over 200 billion naira coming to your state, what projects are you embarking on? How much are these projects taking? Let me give you a typical example. If you are having to contend with erosion, for example, a lot of money goes into erosion. So a state government receives 200 billion and would have to spend far more than 200 million to handle an environmental issue in their state that may not really be seen. So it is not about the money, it is about the utilization of the money. So if the state government is sinking so much funds in development projects here and there, and they are not transparent about it, one may be suspecting corruption. And that is why these people have come out to say that we want more, or whatever demands they are placing on the state governor. All what the state governor needs to do, which he has to do immediately, is to engage the people.
Then peradventure, there is no engagement from the side of the governor. What do you think would be the economic effect of these host communities
going on this protest?
You know, in any of the host communities, once you have this kind of situation, the impact does not just end in the state concerned. This Nigeria is a mono economy, talking about the oil economy. So any drop, don't forget that we have not even been able to meet the budget target. Don't go to the budget target in the first place. So we are still struggling and coming. So when there is a protest, I said the other time, Nigerians don't know how to differentiate protests and riots. So immediately you say there's a protest, it means down tools. No work, no exploration, no this and that. And once that happens, we'll fall short of our production capacity. And once we fall short of the whole economy suffers. Now we are struggling, no dollar, you know, the foreign exchange issues is there, and we earn forex by these crude oil sales. And if anything happens in Delta State now, it affects Nigeria as a whole. How will Nigeria even recover from this end bad governance protest that we are struggling with today? It's a long-term thing, and sometimes we talk about the consequences of our actions. That is why these engagements should happen as soon as possible between the governor and these host communities. It should be something that he takes very seriously. The presidency should be interested in it, to ask him, what steps are you taking such that this does not happen? Before 21 days, resolve this. Let the people know they are human beings. They can reason with you. You engage them. You discuss with them. You know what the issues are and how you are going to go about solving this issue. Because it is not just going to be a Delta thing. It will affect us in Akwa Ibom. It will affect those in Sokoto and Kano. The loss that we have suffered these few days, that's why I said it's unfortunate that this is coming up at a time like this. We have already suffered. It is real that we are, you know, the projection from this enterprise commission was talking about 400 billion every day. Now, the reality is that someone, I think Nigeria Bureau of Statistics has said it is 500 billion on the first day alone. So when you calculate 5 days, 4 days, how much billions we have lost as a nation due to these protests that we are battling with now, we put that down, then you now want to cut off our revenue, because that's our revenue, principal revenue from oil. And once you can't produce in Delta State, it will drop the our production level so much.
What should be the way forward? Now, we're not looking at just Delta. We're looking at other states in the Niger Delta as well. What should be the way forward to ensure that the environment is well, because this is one of the major issues that people are facing. Their livelihoods is on the environment. What should be the way forward for not just the host com, but also from the state government as well as other interventionist agencies within the region?
The way forward, in my own opinion, should start from the federal government understanding that 13% is too small for the people producing oil. Now, we should be eyeing 50% by now. When this money comes in, we should also look at our leadership in these states, the oil producing states. We should be particular about who we bring up for that, a governor of the host community, who is the main accounting officer of this state. So if we have good leadership in each of these states, oil producing states, then we would be assured that the utilization of these resources is well utilized. The impact, of course, we know, we've discussed about it on the host communities, but we need to see how to put things in place for us to be able to manage resources, funds coming into the states that are producing oil should be sufficient to take care of most of these things. I realize that most times people outside these communities do not understand what these people suffer.
True.
If you are in Lagos, for example, or in Jos, you build a house, your roof lasts for 20 years or 30 years. In these places, under 2 years, you have to re-roof. So if you spend 5 million, 3 million, you need another 5 million, 3 million another day to roof your house again. So if you were cultivating cassava, for example, the oil spill happens, it affects your crop. The environmental impact on these people is tremendous. So if we are going to address it, we should acknowledge the effect and the multiplier effects the exploration of oil is really causing on the oil-producing states.
Okay.
Increase the revenue sharing formula. Take it away from 30%, put it at 50%, even 70%. Let them utilize their oil to sustain, to make the economy grow.
Okay.
So that you would also see development in this other aspect. It's just that we have things in other areas. For instance, the gold we're having, other mineral resources we're having in other parts are not utilized or looked into as much as the federal government is all depending on oil.
Okay.
But this is an area that we should also be looking at. We should also look at developing an agriculture so that other areas that are not producing oil could also have resources and be comfortable with their resources. It's a multifaceted issue that needs
to
an
add
approach.
to what Jennifer said, she made mention of not just Delta State. As human beings, you know, there is this tendency to imitate because we learn through imitation. Do you think the way this particular issue in Delta State will be handled is going to have a ripple effect on the other states of the Niger Delta and their host communities?
Certainly it will.
And should the governors also prepare for something like this?
It will. The governor should be alert that as Delta State is complaining, that citizens of their states are also looking at what is going on in Delta State. So if they are not engaging their people sufficiently, that it is time that they begin to engage their people transparently and let people have trust and confidence in them. The only way you can gain trust is by being transparent. There was a time we talked about publishing financial statements of state on a monthly basis. That is not happening, but that should be happening.
Okay, but then you made mention of increasing from 13% to maybe about 50 or even 70%.
Even 70%, yes.
Now, with the 13% already made available, what are the states doing with that 13% that probably could boost the federal government or intimate them into increasing to even the 70 you're looking at?
Some of the oil producing states, they have resources to develop, and you cannot compare their pace of development with states that do not have oil. You could take example, maybe River State and Bauchi State, for example. You see what is happening in River State, you see what is happening in Bauchi State. So if you want to compare states that are really having resources based on this sharing formula, you could see that they are doing a lot. But in some states that the governors may not be utilizing the resources that they are getting effectively, then the states may not be developing at the pace. But in most cases, you see that people may not really know what you are doing with the money because you are not being transparent with it. If you are spending whatever you are doing with money, you should let the people know what you are doing with that money. It's always difficult to have conversations when you don't have the facts at hand. So if you draw a budget, how far are you meeting up with your budget? If you are meeting your budget, how transparent are you to tell the people this is what is actually happening? This issue in Delta State is nothing less of distrust. It's just a matter of distrust.
Is this distrust, is it just on the state governor or the leaders of these host communities as well? What if the state governor is dealing in absolute fairness?
It is a two-way thing.
Okay.
I trust you, trust me. But it is about communication.
Okay.
There is nothing that takes the place. In leadership, the first thing you master is communication. So if I don't trust my governor, then I come up with issues. The openness my governor discusses it with. Don't forget, the truth stands on its own. Fact stands on its own. A logical presentation, if everybody, majority will. So once you gain the majority, forget about those that may not understand the issues at hand. So all what we need to see happening in Delta State is communication, and in all other states, like we say, the other oil producing states are involved in this. So look at what is happening. If you have not been doing what you are supposed to be doing, start doing it. Engage your people. Tell them what comes in. Tell them how you are spending what comes in. Communication is key.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, now that will take us to some other developments within the Niger Delta region, and it brings us to Akwa Ibom, where the call by youth of the Niger Delta to end bad governance is gradually paying off, as Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Mono has unveiled 5,000 jobs to youths in the state for their peaceful disposition in the ongoing nationwide End Bad Governance protest. Now, Governor Moino, he stated this during a breakfast meeting with protest leaders from all 31 local government areas of the state. Representatives of other nationalities, that is, residents who are not of Akwa Ibom origin, were also present at that meeting. Now, this is a welcome development, I would say. Like they would say, there's always a reward for hard work.
Yeah.
And now there's a reward. Every good boy deserves Fanta. So now their good attitude and behavior is paying off, as the governor has promised 5,000 jobs to the youth. Let me take you up on that.
Yes.
Should this be encouraged, or because it's like saying there's a payoff for going on protests?
No, not the payoff for going on protest. A payoff for making it peaceful and chaos-free.
Okay.
You're taking it from the positive side of the protest. That if there was no protest, maybe there wouldn't have been 5,000 jobs.
Probably. Probably.
I don't completely agree with that.
Okay.
Because His Excellency, the State Governor, started well, and he's on that path of integration. And we see that even in this situation, what the business people will call backward integration came into play. That you tell your people this is the way to go, or maybe apply reverse psychology and say to them, he explained to people, if you want to go and protest, this may be the consequences. Do you really want this to happen in our state? And the people said, along with him. So instead of commanding or forcefully telling the people, I don't want to see protest here, don't do this, don't do that, he took it with the appropriate approach to say, this is the way it is. My guys, what do you think about this? And the people flowed with him. What is that? Leadership.
Okay.
He has exemplified a very good leadership. Kudos to him. Kudos to the followership still, because you could be a good leader, but you don't have good followership.
Okay.
Now, he has shown good leadership, and he got rewarded with good followership. When you want to really understand this, you understand it from the perspective of the losses the country has suffered so far. I mean, like the overall of it is loss of lives. The number of lives that has been lost. I don't know the number, I don't want to call any number, but lives has been lost. Even police admitted that they lost one of their men. Now, that's a great loss to the country, not to talk about the financial loss that has happened in other parts of the country. We talked about even the insecurity, the uncertainty that could even take life of people that are not even able to get to the hospital because no transportation to the hospital. We never experienced all that. It appeared as if those days of the Civil War, where we were fighting war here and some people in Nigeria were going to school and relaxing and not even experiencing anything. So we experienced absolute peace in Akwa Ibom State. That goes as a big kudos to His Excellency, the Governor.
Okay, now the Governor also made mention of the fact that this 5,000 jobs are not going to just PDP youth. It's going to be for youth across party lines. And now he has also incorporated or included non-indigens, people of other nationalities from the Niger Delta,
Yoruba.
and Yorubas and all of that. How well do you think this is going to sync with the people of Akwa Ibom State, the youth in particular?
Talking about the non-partisan approach of the governor, which is what we have been experiencing, that he has been bringing people together and flowing with everyone, not minding the party lines, beyond party lines. Now, he has made that statement. I still feel I should clarify the job creation issue that I don't want to look at, because I listened to him and I feel there are two parts to it. There is the welfare part to it that is easy. You have resources, you can reach out to 5,000 people at the same time, and you are able to carry the people along and have 5,000 people benefit from this. He talked about building a database. From that database, you can drop and do all that. And he also talked about the commencement date of October, which I feel, all this be accomplished by this time? But when you want to, that's the welfareist part, but when you want to talk about the real issue of job creation and what it entails, then you begin to talk about the skill acquisition, the development and entrepreneurship spirit and entrepreneurship ideas, the entrepreneurship drive in a state, you begin to talk about the infrastructure. All what I will be listing is about building a very good economic climate for the state. Now, these are things that he has started already, and he has been doing. But to say, out of the pleasure or excitement of saying people have really shown him love and acceptance, then he says, I'm going to do this, create 5,000 jobs. People should not think that by October 5,000 jobs will happen. We shouldn't raise such hopes. Because it is a process. It is a process. Like I said, previous government may have started it, and he also started excellently well with his philosophical approach of deriving a vision, driving, you see, you talk about the Arise agenda that he holds at hand. Those are ways towards achieving job creation. Now, you see him also touching the lives of the nano businesses by handout to them and all that.
Interest-free loans.
Yes, interest-free loans. Those things go a long way when we want to talk about job creation.
Don't you think this could be politicized by maybe those put in place to handle this project?
You talk about the Nigerian factor?
Oh, yes.
you see, the Nigerian factor is there, our culture, our ways of doing things. But when you have good leadership in place, he has emphasized that this is a non-partisan thing. He has emphasized this should cut across party lines and all that. But of course, there are people that are going to interpret the dream. There are people that are there to interpret the vision of the governor. So it now depends on how these people are going to interpret these dreams. I agree with you. The Nigerian factor is real. It is there. People may begin to say, my cousin, my sister, or you are a party member.
You're not an Akwa Ibom.
You came out to vote, you did not come out to vote, and all that, or you are not. People, all those may be. But the leadership has shown the way that this is what I want. So if he notices that you are not doing it the right way, it is within his powers to ensure that he institutes a kind of discipline that would ensure that people fall in line with his expectations. The buck still stops at the governor's table to ensure that everybody is carried along in this.
To avoid another protest.
Oh. So now the body language, perhaps you say, puts it right. But then now this protest issue takes us to Edo State, where.
But before we go to Edo State, I think we should take a look at some social media reactions from the Akwa Ibom governor's statement. This one is coming from the governor himself. He said, I'm excited to announce an upcoming engagement forum at which we'll unveil plans to create over 5,000 jobs for our youth across all local government areas and non-indigent groups. That's a very good one. And he also said, during our breakfast meeting, I announced plans to engage 200 youth from each local government area and 50% representatives from each of the non-indigent groups. This initiative aims to improve their living conditions and secure their continuous cooperation and support for our administration. Your faith and trust in our leadership energizes us to do more. Together, we will continue to improve the welfare and security of our people.
Well, this is from Joseph Sam, who says, thank you, Your Excellency. We will continue to maintain peace in Akwa Ibom State. Please do well to implement the new minimum wage for your workers without any downward review for those in senior cadre. Thank you.
Wow.
Okay, that's from Joseph. And Paul Edwo says, if these resolutions will be assiduously compiled with or implemented, it will be a great lift to our youth and the state at large. Thank you, Mr. Governor, for taking these all-important steps to better the lives of Akwa Ibom and Akwa Ibomites. That's from Paul Edo. Well, now that's the social media reactions, and this is from people who are commending the governor for commending...
And using the opportunity to ask for more.
Oh, yes. And for commending the people who went on a peaceful protest.
Yes.
While Akwa Ibom has received the comment and the commendation, it's quite different in Edo State, where there is a back and forth with regards to the distribution of bags of rice, as well as youths going into the warehouse and catering away with the items there. Now, the state government, earlier through the Asue Godalo, had mentioned that the Edo State didn't receive the rice sent by the federal government. And not just that, there had also been some pictures online where some youths during the protest went into a warehouse and carted away with food items. You can see that on the screen. And then the state government came in and they had mentioned that the youths who did this, well, this is...
2 of them were arrested.
So, yeah, 2 were arrested, and they also mentioned that this does not mean that this is the rice that the federal government had gotten. That the items they usually receive, they distribute them to the Christian Association of Nigeria as well as other organizations to distribute to the people.
They are even alleging that this particular one that was looted from that truck is for the Christian Association of Nigeria, where they already have a laid down plan of who is going to receive from this rice. So you thought it was from the federal government. You have actually cost someone a very huge amount of money, because now this is not what you were expecting, that it was from your for your state, from the federal government. So who is going to bear the brunt of this loss?
But then, let me come back to you in the studio. Now, this looting, I think it's one of the most painful parts of every protest. Individuals who have lost monies for their businesses. People are protesting issues of bad governance. And here you are inflicting injury and pain to fellow Nigerians who are going through the issues you are going through. How do we handle
I think they do not see their actions as part of governance.
Definitely, because now they are creating more chaos.
That's part of the consequences you experience in a chaotic situation, given rise to this. But you see, the sooner we as a country begin to address issues the way they are, in terms of this kind of criminal activity, it's clear stealing. People go in somewhere and begin to organize themselves to go and steal. And they claim it is federal government rice or state government rice or wherever the rice may belong to. Even if it were federal government that kept the rice there, why should you steal the rice?
Okay.
So if we have good governance in place and you have confidence and trust in your government, then you would know that you have a local government chairman to channel your grievances to, you have a state governor to channel your grievances to, even if you come back to the village level, that you have avenues of channeling, addressing grievances, then we wouldn't be seeing this kind of a thing, disgraceful thing in our country. It is very, very appalling when you catch up with news like this, that this is what is happening in Nigeria. Hunger shouldn't drive people to steal. Hunger should not drive people to commit this kind of heinous crime to themselves, because this would definitely affect our economy as it is, because who owns that rice? What was it meant for? So it is not about the state government and Edo State playing politics with it to claim it is not federal government. That's not what I expect from the state government to say. The ownership of the rice is not the issue. The issue is the crime being committed, and we should address the crime being committed. So if you are seeing this kind of mammoth crowd going about stealing and you are able to arrest only 2 people, then the state government, you need to really review your actions to see if it aligns with expectations, a standard expectation. So if you are able to condone a thing like this, because you should be able to, at the first instance, this shouldn't have happened at all. If you had good engagements with your people, if you had good things well placed, put in place, you wouldn't have this at all, to begin to accuse another political party that this is what is going on here, or federal government own, or I don't own, I gave it out, or I don't have warehouse there. Those are not the kind of statements we should be seeing or from our governors. We should address the crime issue. This is crime. This is a criminal activity.
Well, although they had condemned the act, but let's look at it from this angle. Earlier, you had made mention, while we were talking about the host community, you made mention of the issue of trust, that perhaps this reaction is coming from the place of distrust. Don't you think these people, not aware of defense though, these people maybe do not have the trust that these items will get to them. And so they finally get
maybe
to
from
see,
experience as well.
Yeah, they finally get to see something. Oh, let's take for ourselves.
And still, you're really driving me to make a comparison I never wanted to make here.
Okay.
Now, you have the Edo State scenario. You also have a Akwa Ibom State scenario. I tell you, everything rests on leadership.
Sure.
If Governor Omoino wasn't getting it right, Akwa Ibom wouldn't have been peaceful. If Governor Omoino wasn't engaging right, you remember when the protest was about to start, his effort at engaging the people, he didn't rest. He went on to discuss with the people, took time out and explained things to the people, and got their commitment to maintain peace in Akwa Ibom State.
Yeah.
When you have a leader like that, it did not just happen because of this protest. That's what we say. He started well. He started philosophy. It means that people are following him step by step. People are agreeing with his programs. When you hear of the project, one per local government project that he's doing, it makes him, he is from Nsiri Ubiom local government. People are not seeing him driving all the projects to Nsiri Ubiom local government.
Evenly distributed.
People are not seeing him driving all the projects to Barin, where the wife comes from. People are not seeing him in that light. If they were to see him in that light, it will build distrust. So if he started well, he engages with people. He cuts across the political parties. There was a time in this state and the PDP man would not talk to an APC man. But here we are. We have about 3 citizens from Akwa Ibom State in good tandem relationship with the state governor, who is a PDP person. All those things builds trust and confidence. So when you act in that way, people begin to see you have the welfare of the people at heart. You are committed to the people. So they are bound to trust what you say to them.
Okay.
So when a time like this arose, that we are having a national protest issue, you would trust that man. When he tells you, calm down, don't do this, you would have confidence.
I got you covered.
So it is a process. It's a strategic thing. It's a systematic thing for you to arrive at this thing, this kind of place.
Okay.
So in Edo State, it's a different story completely. You see the politics going on in Edo State from Adam Soshemele to this current Obaseki and the issues with the deputy governor and all those things. It would affect trust and confidence of the people in his administration. He can't get the majority followership as we have here in Akwa Ibom State with Excellency Governor Omoino.
You made mention of the Civil War, meaning you have a very good wealth of experience. Now, in Rivers State, there's this issue of extortion. Prior to this time, the protest had escalated to the level where they blocked the convoy of the governor of the state, similarly to the convoy. There's also blocking of major roads, including the East-West Road. And now, there's this issue of going out with leaves when you step out of your house. Growing up then, I don't know if you would agree, that means you are in support of the protest. I might not be a part of you like in this parade, but I am with you for me to come out with leaves. And now if you're not coming out with leaves, we have people on the sides who are selling these leaves to you for 100 naira or 200. It's your right to just have to drive people away from the temple.
Let's come back to the ancient
I'm telling you.
Come back to the recent time.
So it is right for you to enforce the leave thing on me, like in Rivers State.
1993 elections, the failure of the government, the Abiola issue in Nigeria, the June 12 issue, particularly. We used to witness this a lot, carrying of leaves. And I tell you, some of us used to carry those leaves for passage. You just pass, go for your business and do that. It doesn't really signify support to an action that is being taken. During the Civil War up to the June 12 issues in Nigeria, leaf carrying leaf signifies peace or identify with you. But that is to say, when you see violence, you should have wisdom not to stand on the way of the train and know how to corner yourself and pass. Now, I have said that carrying leave does not signify a total support to whatever is going on. But when we come back to it, I want to really address the core of my thoughts is that once we have election, let us go for popular candidates. Let us go for candidates that are from the people.
Irrespective of the party.
Irrespective of the party. Now, if Fubara initially had his way to have people with him, he would have majority control. That majority control will give him. It's about popularity. Let me say this. You know, the election in Akwa Ibom State was free and fair, and we had His Excellency emerge the winner. But you know, he came in as an underdog in politics to contest that election. He won the election. After winning the election, he made himself popular by his actions.
Okay.
So if you did not get it right before you won an election, get it right after you have won the election. So Fubara is the governor of the River State, and issues like this is ongoing in his own state. If you did not get it right before the election, you should get it right after the election. All of us know the boast in the political cycle that I made him governor. And an individual cannot make you governor and you become popular. So if you are popular, you become a governor, you would have the popular support on your side. And when once issues like this are coming up, you would know how to manage them well. It's unfortunate that River State, we are experiencing this kind of scenario with our neighbors.
Well, they should borrow leaf.
From Akwa Ibom State.
Borrow leaf, but they have more leaf.
No, they should borrow the kind of leaf we need them to borrow.
Okay. Well, I think that's the discussion, but we'll take a break. We'll be back shortly. Do stay with us. It's still Niger Delta Today.
1 hour of your daily dose of news from around the world. Whether it's a diplomatic breakthrough, a humanitarian crisis, or a scientific discovery, Global Digest gives you a deeper understanding of the world around you. Join me, Amma Marcus. Let's stay ahead of the curve with conversations that are shaping our planet at 11 a.m. on DSTV, channel 258, and on StarTimes, channel 140. Global Digest, your window to the world's current affairs, only on Advocate Broadcasting Network.
In a world of overwhelming voices where everyone has different opinion on different issues, it is important that we bring the core issue to the fore. Join me, Nancy Banigo, on Softline as we lend our voices to inform and influence your thoughts and actions. This is not just mere talk, it is an invocative program that touches the core of our existence.
Okay, it's still Niger Delta Today on ADBN television, and we have been talking about the protest amongst other issues. And now we'll be going straight into some oil matters still in the Niger Delta region, as troops of Nigerian Army have destroyed several illegal oil bunkering sites in Rivers and Bayelsa states, as well as recovered over 40,000 liters of illegally refined products. This is in line with the reinvigorated vigor aimed at reducing the activities of notorious illegal oil bunkering merchants in the Niger Delta. Troops of Land Component LC Joint Task Force JTF South-South Operation Delta Safe have effectively scaled up operations against these criminal elements in the region. In the operation that ensued, troops identified several illegal refining sites in Rivers and Bayelsa states, where several discoveries were also made. In Rivers State, troops of Sector 3 LCJTF, following credible intelligence, identified and successfully destroyed 3 illegally refined products at Odagwa in Eche local government area of the state. The operation led to the confiscation and subsequent destruction of over 3,000 liters of stolen and illegally refined products. Also at Akaso Field down to Cotton Channel around Well 9, troops discovered 1 illegally refining site, 3 receivers and massive connecting pipes traversing the terrain to convey stolen crude oil by thieves. Other items were also confiscated and destroyed at the site in line with the mandate of the Operation Delta Safe in the Niger Delta region. In Bayelsa State, troops of Section 2, while conducting routine operations in the creeks, waterways and rivers along the Dasaba Creek in Nembe local government area, confiscated over 12,000 liters of stolen crude oil refined products. Other items include 1 fiber boat, 5 ovens, several metal drums, as well as massive reservoirs used as storage facilities for the illegal venture. Wow, Mr. Marvel, the amount of crude oil that is being mentioned in this report is really alarming. We still have a lot to do when it comes to curbing crude oil theft in the Niger Delta. What would be your advice on this?
Before I'll commend the federal government for this effort that they have put on. You will just say it means the former president was right.
Okay.
Former President Obasanjo that said 80% of our oil resources are being stolen. So when you see this magnitude, you would agree that truly this is what is going on in Niger Delta. Now, the effect on the economy is what we are still experiencing in terms of us not able to meet our budgetary projection for oil production.
Okay.
Now, if this is done effectively, it means we would have been able to take care of improving on our oil production in the country. It is very unfortunate that people would be committing this kind of crime against our nation, and yet other people do not even have food to eat, and they are not even considering the effect of their activities on the economy. If they were to consider the effects of the economy, they would come to realize they're not even better off for it, because when you think about generations to come, your children and grandchildren, if you think you are eating today, what will happen to your children and grandchildren when you engage in this kind of activities? Overall, we just want to commend the federal government for taking this bold step to attack these issues in the Niger Delta and see how we can curtail this activity of oil theft in this region.
Now, with the recent discoveries, there has been numerous discoveries, I would say, within the Niger Delta region, and usually have amounts of 30,000 liters, 150,000 tanks and all. But with all of these arrests, we keep having more. Now, with this particular one, I won't be surprised tomorrow we have another discovery.
The suspects are always fleeing. I think that's why.
Yeah.
It's a cartel.
Okay.
It's a cartel. And they know, you see, the other day we discussed, I don't know whether it was this forum or another forum, we talked about the corruption in NNPC. To the extent that NNPC owned up to it, to say, yes, we are corrupt, when they said, when we give our contract, we add cost to cost.
Wow.
Now, if Kerry could come out to say that in the open, then it means that NNPC is truly corrupt. Take your mind back to the activities of this Dangote refinery issues and the activities around it. When you say the sulfur content is high, or the sulfur content is not high, people went to make tests. Why are we not being consistent with what we are doing? So you see the level of corruption that people in government support these activities. So when we talk about this kind of activity, it's a cartel. Don't forget, it's a high monetary value issue. So it attracts a lot of criminals in that area. So we are working, the federal government has started on this way. The encouragement is to commend them for doing this. And when they have started, they shouldn't stop. They should keep doing it until we are able to curtail it. I'm not saying eliminate, because that may not be truly possible.
Okay.
But just let us be at a comfortable level that we are able to achieve a reasonable level of production of oil.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Marvel Isian, for coming on this show and sharing your thoughts with us on the program.
Thank you,
We
Jennifer.
really appreciate you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, and with that, we'll draw the curtains for today's edition of Niger Delta Today. It's been a wonderful time. Do join us again tomorrow for another interesting package. I'm Jennifer Pius, and I wasn't alone.
I am Awero Swagene Ebo. See you same time tomorrow. Bye for now.
ADBN, Advocate Broadcasting Network.
75 days since the last day of last season. We are ready to do it all again.
Phil Foden is having the season of his life. Brilliant! Just brilliant! That is quite something!
Stay connected for all the football you want, starting from 5,100 naira per month.
No matter wetin I see, enough fit make mouth heavy to talk am. That's now why people they talk.
You know wetin dey worry you, but you no go fit take
help yourself. In this kind of situation now, what if they really no talk to Ona? What will be the way forward?
They go bury our chairman on Thursday. We go remain here.
Make we talk good where we dey see good, and where we know say we not dey see good, make we also dey talk am.
No woman, no mother deserve to know the grave of his child.
The bank manager, the bank executive, they are the one the government should first pay.
People They Talk, the show on Monday to Friday by 5 p.m. on top ADBN TV.
It is Groovy Mono, aka the Steve Prince.
Yo, what's up? It's Big Shags. I'm in London.
Hey guys.